for joining us. You have just tuned in to Where is the Love? I am your host. I am Stephanie Hawkenhall, just still trying to get my stuff together. I wasn't ready. Come on in, Gene, my son, my co-host.
Come on in the room. Come on in the room.
How you doing, son?
I am feeling anxious, I guess I would say.
Anxious?
Yeah.
Why are you anxious? What's
I don't know.
happening? What's happening?
It's been a week.
Okay.
It has been a week.
Well, it's time to relax, relate, release, as Whitney said.
You know. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm doing good. Looking at this material that we're going to be sharing and giving to the folks. I'm excited about it because I'm learning more about it, more about shadow work, which is what we're going to be talking about. Hey, y'all, this is episode 111. On episode 110, we started talking about shadow work. So, in talking about shadow work, we told you what it is. So today we're going to be talking about when to recognize. First, let me stop. You should be watching us on our YouTube channels.
There we go.
Where Love Misunderstood Institute or Premier Fitness 0210, or you can be watching us on Roku or Amazon Fire on TV. Yes, this is a TV show. So we're on Roku or Amazon Fire. All you have to do is search PODTV space LIVE, and you can watch us live only while we're doing the show. Otherwise, you can watch us on our YouTube channels. And I don't know if you're on my Facebook, wherever you're watching us at right now, those are places you can watch us. We're on several different places right now. I'm not going to name them all. You want to add anything before we get into it?
No, this is very important work, and actually, I think that I was talking to Danica about it. I think I want to, get certified in shadow work. I think that's important, and as we go into the episode and start discussing things, the audience will understand more. But yeah, I feel like it's very important, and it's very important work.
Yeah, going through the material showed me just how important it is. So we're going to get into this again, episode 111. We're going to we're going to recap episode 110, and then we're going to get on into episode 111. You want to start?
Yeah, for sure. All right, so an example.
On episode 110.
We talked about shadow work, what it is, the goal of it, and why it's crucial for healing. We gave you the following example on our last show, but we want to give it again for those that may have missed it. So the first example is, imagine you were teased as a child for being talkative. I got that one a lot. Over time, you internalize this as a flaw, avoiding situations where you might talk too much. Then as an adult, a harmless comment like, don't add too many words to that slide. Those words may trigger an outsized emotional reaction. This isn't about the slide, but your unconscious fear of being judged. Such reactions highlight how the shadow self can influence your behaviors when left unaddressed. We have to address our issues, our hurts, and our traumas in order to have healthy relationships, lifestyles, and mindsets. And that will help us be able to love freely and truly give to others what we desire to receive.
Yeah.
When you recognize yourself distinguishing certain traits that cause an unsettling feeling in your gut or in your mind, it's time to do some shadow work. Now, we're going to give you more examples to help when there are parts of you that might need some shadow work. We'll give you an example of some things that you may find yourself doing or reactions that you may have about something or towards someone to help you recognize that you may want to do some shadow work. We'll give you a compassionate or empathetic response that may help the person that either distinguishes that trait, admits to having it, or that you recognize the trait in to help them. Maybe the statement may spark a desire in them for change or give them courage to want to release what is not serving them well. Hopefully, the statement uh, may help them do the shadow work and want to process through the hurt to become a better version of themselves. There's been damage done in our lives, in all of our lives. We have all experienced trauma of some sort, and we should want to change for the best, help ourselves and others when we recognize one of these traits, so that we can move towards healing and a better future for ourselves and those who we encounter and interact with in our daily lives.
So before we give the first example, we're not going to go. Mark says the shadow knows.
Shadow knows all.
So on our last show, we're not going to go into it, but Gene gave an example of hearing that he talked too much as a kid. As a really young kid, he used to tell stories at the age, I can't remember if he started at like 2 or 3, but around that age, he used to tell stories and have me and my mom and her sister really engaged in his stories and saying to each other, where is this child getting these stories from? So, in order to hear what the piece of that story, you have to go back to episode 10. It's at the end of near the end of the video. But he talked about how that, um, you know, came back to him and did some things to him. So go back to that. We're going to give you some other examples of um, traits that you may recognize, when someone says something to you, when it sparks something in you. Yes, it hurts. We know. Um, but if you don't deal with things, at the time that they come up, it's going to come back. And you're going to keep experiencing that thing over and over again until you basically be like, okay, this is something that I need to, I forgot to turn my phone off. This is something that I need to deal with because this hurts. So you always have a choice. Do I want to keep experiencing this same hurt, or do I want to deal with it so it can go away and I don't have to deal with it again? So if you're going to deal with it, um, you're going to experience some hurt. And so I want to say that Gene and I this week, talked about some things and recognized some things from the past. And so we had to deal with some shadows, and they wasn't pretty. They were hurtful, but the thing still remains. This is what you're experiencing. You can be angry about it, frustrated about it, or whatever that negative emotion is about it, and stay there and keep repeating the same cycle. Or you can say, okay, I'm here. I see you. I don't like it. What needs to be done to change this so I don't keep experiencing this over and over again? So I just wanted to add that. You want to add anything to it before we?
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off what you said. If you don't deal with that shadow, the shadows get bigger. They
Yeah.
get bigger, they get stronger. It's like they on steroids. They in the shadow lifting weights. You know, then they getting cardio in. They doing CrossFit and all types of stuff. So if you don't deal with them shadows, I swear they gonna deal with you.
Yeah, and we're laughing about it, but it ain't, like I said, we
Nah,
experienced it this week. It ain't pretty.
nah,
And this is not our first time experiencing it. We just are learning what it's called.
right.
So go ahead. You wanted to
Yeah,
say something?
yeah. I was just saying that. Yeah, like you have to deal with those shadows when they show up. You got to deal with them right there in that moment. Or again, like I said, they become bigger. And shadows have shadows. So if
Yeah,
you don't deal with that shadow will grow another one, and you're dealing with a cluster.
yeah,
I ain't gonna say the other word I was gonna add to it, but cluster. You're dealing with a cluster now. Trying to keep PG for the people. Um, but yeah, you gotta deal with them shadows, man. When they come up, when those fillers come up, or you're reminded of something that hurts or some trauma that you push, in the back of your mind. If you don't deal with that bad boy, he's gonna come. It's like the monsters in a movie you see. You know what I'm saying? Like the creature features, you see that thing in the shadow, and if you try to ignore it, it gets so much worse.
Yeah.
Same thing with shadow work, man. If you don't deal with them shadows, they lift weights in there. They be
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. Oh, you
Like
ain't paying attention.
like
All right,
them
all right,
like
all
the
right.
muscles y'all see on jeans. Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Make it strong. Yeah.
So Mark said, "What shadows have shadows? Are shadows like zombies? Do I have to worry about them too?"
You might, if you don't deal with it, they might grow some zombies, some vampires, some werewolves, some Frankensteins. I don't, oh,
He said shadows are like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
right. They want to pump you up.
Yeah. So, Jean, I will read the example, and I want you to read the response to each one because Jean already explained to you. We're gonna give you a compassionate, empathetic response to share with somebody else when you recognize the trait in them. So he's gonna talk about what the shadow is, recognizing that shadow, or I'm gonna do that part, and then he's gonna read the empathetic compassionate response. So the first example is the people pleaser, and this was us.
Oh yes.
Oh, okay. I often say yes when I want to say no because I fear being disliked or rejected. I realize this came from childhood, moments where love felt conditional.
Yeah. All right. So the compassionate or empathetic response is it makes so much sense that you learn to keep the peace to feel safe and loved. You deserve relationships where your no is respected just as much as your yes. I say to that. You're not here to earn love. You are already lovable. Embrace love.
Yes, you want to add anything?
Yeah, like you said, we were notorious people pleasers. But yeah, like the statement says, your when you are with someone and they truly love you, your no matters. Just as well as your yes. And in order to have true unconditional love, both have to be respected and honored. So yeah,
Yeah, and it's hard dealing with people when you know their love is conditional because then that makes you say yes when you really want to say no, and then it makes you experience unnecessary uh, things um, when or experiences when they are like that. Oh, I don't want to make them mad. I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to. In the meantime, the things that we don't want to do to somebody else, we're allowing to happen to us because we choose to please them instead of ourselves. So, no more, none of that, y'all. None of that. None of that. We we
you
didn't
got
learn. And if you ain't happy what I know, then you can go on. Gene used to say to the left, go on. Because we ain't having it. We ain't going back
right.
now. We ain't going back. So you want to add something?
Nah, I mean, again, it's just always interesting when you're dealing with people and they show you that they have conditional love for you. It's like, yeah, you
Yeah.
run, run,
Yeah.
because it don't get no better. It don't get
Right.
no better, and they don't begin to love you unconditionally
Yeah.
because it doesn't happen. Either it's a thing that already is, or it ain't happening. So
Yeah.
notice that conditional love.
Yeah.
Head out,
Right.
roll out,
I can do without
roll
it.
out.
We learn how to love ourselves. So your love, we don't have to have it if it's gonna be tore up, broke up, messed up, and jack us up. Nope, keep going.
Right, right.
Peace and love. And goodbye.
Sayonara.
Okay, so the next example is the controller. This is a person that says, I need everything to go my way or I feel unsafe. I discovered this stems from a past where chaos or unpredictability made me feel powerless.
And the compassionate or empathetic response to that is when life has felt unpredictable, Wanting control is a natural way to create safety. It's okay to soften your grip. You're not alone, and you don't have to hold it all together to be worthy of peace. We are all worthy of the peace that we desire. And
Yep.
even a person who's like trying to control it and control every situation, that's not peaceful. That's
No.
chaos. That's chaos. Even yeah. So controlling just to not feel unsafe is still feeling unsafe.
And
So
so they go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, you go ahead.
So they feel unsafe and unpeaceful. And so they put that off on you. And
Right,
you can either say, yeah, I accept it, I receive it, or no, I don't want it.
right,
So
exactly.
the choice is up to you, what you accept and what you receive.
Right.
But um, that's what happens. What the controller is feeling, they automatically give that to you. And you automatically have a choice as to whether you receive it or not. It's up to
Yeah,
you.
it's a projection. It's a
Yeah.
project those fears onto you by
Yeah.
trying to control.
Yeah. So then the next example is the jealous one. And so that one said, that example is when I see others succeed, I sometimes feel envy. Even though I want to be happy for them, I've learned this points to my own unhealed belief that I'm not good enough or worthy of success.
Right. All right. So the compassionate or empathetic response to that is your jealousy isn't a flaw; it's a messenger. It's showing you, you dreams that still matter to your heart. You're not behind. There's still space and time for you too. There's no need to be jealous of others.
At all.
And I actually experienced that. Well, it wasn't me personally, but during the weekend, we went through one of the processes. A group of us had already been initiated and got our names and all that good stuff. And then the other ones who hadn't gone through yet, I had to come in as we were celebrating. And there was one guy in particular who it was noticeable on his face that he was pissed off because he had to watch us celebrate, and he hadn't gone through that process yet. And so we kind of talked, and just a kind of a snippet was like he felt unworthy. You know, I hadn't passed yet, so I feel jealousy because I want to experience this celebration. With me on others, I want to be celebrated as well. And because he didn't, he was deeply upset. I mean, like, you know, he was crying. He was crying hard. I was like, wow. But that's some childhood trauma that he experienced. Feeling unworthy, feeling unloved, feeling left out and excluded. So yeah, I mean, so that kind of plays into the jealous one archetype.
Wow. So, y'all, just so to understand what Gene is talking about, um, last weekend uh, he was on a spiritual retreat, and so that's what he's talking about. Um, so, thanks for sharing that. So, the next one is the performer. This person is the one that says, I overachieve and constantly seek recognition. I realize it's not just ambition, it's a way I try to feel valued because I never felt truly seen growing up.
Yeah. So the compassionate or empathetic response to that is you don't have to perform to be valuable. You're already enough, just as you are, even in rest and in silence. Let yourself be loved beyond your accomplishments. We know people like that who are always on social media. Hey, I mean, not necessarily doing exactly that, but just like their actions. They have to constantly be out and be seen, and you can tell that they're not really happy. Even when they're putting on a smile or whatever, they're not deeply happy. It's a service thing. They want to be accepted because they felt rejected so long, and they always got to be on. Hey, you see me over here? You see me over here? It's like the little kid. It's like a little kid. I deal with this often when I deal with my kids that I teach. Another kid is doing something, and this kid, look at me, Mr. G, look at me, I'm doing. Like, well, good job, keep going, but you don't have to, take attention away from this person so you can get attention. We all can get it. Just keep working and don't make it about, the attention that you're getting. Just make it about the work. So yeah, I absolutely see that.
Yeah, that's funny. And adults do that too. They don't do it the exact same way, but they do that too. Try to get the focus off of the one that the focus is on and get it on me. So um, kids uh, that don't learn resilience and that don't learn how to really do things the proper way, um, grow up to be adults that do the same thing. So,
Yeah,
uh,
and it kind of goes back to just valuing yourself,
yeah,
not looking outwardly for someone to approve of you. You have to have that deep self love in order to receive it from the outside world, because the energy that you put out, I mean, the energy that you have inside of you is what manifests outside of you.
yeah,
So it's yeah, just you gotta love you. You gotta love you first. You gotta be your biggest cheerleader at
yeah,
all times. And you don't have to put on the show for you. You shouldn't. I mean, if you do, whew, yeah, shadow work and some therapy.
yeah, yeah. So on to the next example. So the next one is the avoider, which is the one that says, I distract myself with work, entertainment, or helping others to avoid sitting with my own pain. I now understand that I fear feeling the depth of my sadness or anger. That's the avoider.
Oh yeah. And the compassionate or empathetic response is, it's okay to protect yourself when the pain feels too big, but you don't have to run forever. You're strong enough to face what's been buried, and you won't have to do it alone. Find and talk to someone who supports you, that you can trust to help encourage
That's that's so important to find somebody that you can trust, uh, and that supports your feelings and that won't put you down and make you, you know, feel this little, because of the feelings that you have. No, you need to talk to somebody. I mean, and that doesn't mean a professional, but talk to somebody you trust, a brother or sister, a mother or father, aunt, uncle, grandparent, whoever it is. Find somebody that you can trust, that you can, you know, talk to, so that you're not projecting your negative feelings off on people that didn't do nothing to you.
you.
It's just you need to learn how to deal with your emotions, and all that shows is you haven't learned how to deal with your emotions correctly. So then you just project negativity off onto other people, which is not helpful.
Yeah.
You want to add something?
Yeah, yeah. As I was gonna say, I see that a lot, like with people who constantly have to be out somewhere around a lot of people, or some of them, drink all the time because they can't deal with their emotions, so they try to swallow them down, which makes it worse. People always got to be in a crowd, a room full of people, because they can't sit alone with themselves, like the thing said. It's like we have to do that deep dive. Be always be honest with yourself.
Yeah,
Own your feelings. You can't run from them, because them
yeah,
shadows, those shadows right on you. They on your heel. You can't run from them. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Everywhere you want to be.
I just visualize videos where I've seen little kids running from their shadows and crying.
Yes. Mhm.
And that's what we're doing. We may not be literally crying on the outside,
Right.
but when we have all these different fears and things, and we have to face them, looking at it is scary, and so the outcome may be, tearful moments, or you may experience the tears and what have you, and running and till you get tired, and and then decide, okay, I give up, you know. All right. So
So
what you grinning about? What you gonna
yeah,
say?
because when you said running, it reminded me of Forrest Gump. I was running and running and running and running.
Oh, Jenny.
Jenny, I love you, Jenny.
All right. So the next one is the perfectionist. And that is the one that says, I criticize myself for not doing things perfectly. Underneath, that is a fear that if I make a mistake, I'll be unlovable or a failure.
Right. And the compassion or empathetic response to that is you've carried the weight of impossible standards for too long. Mistakes don't define you. They make you human. You are worthy of grace, just not just achievement.
Yep.
It kind of goes back to what you and I talk about all the time. Give yourself grace. Nothing and no one is perfect. I mean, the universe itself, excuse me, is constantly evolving and growing and expanding. So why do you think that you can be perfect?
Yep.
Something that is perfect or in a perfected state is crystallized in that state. So there's no more growth. So do you really want to be perfect, or you just want to be better every day?
Yeah. So Mark said some people are afraid they will be exposed for not being a perfectionist, and they try to make the world think they are.
Right.
Yeah, so that person is really struggling, with themselves, um, and so they have to face themselves, and so that's part of a shadow too. That's something that I don't want people to know, that
I have
I'm
no.
not a perfectionist like I think I am. What did you say?
Well, yeah. Shoot, I forgot what I was saying. Um, I forgot. It'll come back to me.
So Mark also said Michael Jackson and Michael Jordan are not necessarily perfectionists.
Um, I mean, I don't know if they were perfectionists. I know they both worked very, very hard. They were very detailed about their work. Like I've watched some footage from Michael Jackson for those, especially the last tour he did. Like that dude, he's a genius, and to be that smart, and then he grew up in the industry, so he knows so much.
Yeah,
He didn't take no he didn't take no crap. He didn't take no crap, but but you can tell that even that, just the way he focused, he was so detail oriented that it was exhausting to him. You know, you got a whole band, you got dancers, you know, and then you're dealing with other stuff too, and it's like everything has to be a certain way. Um, yeah, that's exhausting. That's exhausting.
yeah, it can be. I agree. I was just thinking while you were talking about me and my books and how I want, a certain appearance, when I'm doing it, and how it took me months to, over a month, I'll say a couple months to get it the way I finally was like, okay. But it wasn't because I'm a perfectionist. It's just because I have a certain appearance, a certain way that I wanted laid out and to look on the page.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept fighting with that until I finally got it. And I was like, man, this is just crazy. But, it's hard when when you're a person like that. So I can only imagine that it's even harder for somebody that's no, it has to be perfect. I want it to look a certain way, but I don't think like I want it to be perfect. It has to be perfect. That makes me think of a person that has OCD, you know. So that was just a thought that just came to mind. You want to add anything?
No, no, no. I'm ready for the next
Okay, so the next one is the victim. And this is the one that says, I often replay past hurts and feel powerless, but I'm beginning to see this as a way I protect myself from taking responsibility from my healing.
So the compassionate or empathetic response is what you went through was real and painful. Acknowledging your story is not weakness, it's wisdom. Healing doesn't mean erasing what happened, but it means that you are reclaiming your power to rewrite your story. Yeah, and oof, Lord, we know victims. We know people who play the victim role all the time.
Yeah.
We know them. Everything everybody else is this one particular. How can I say this without revealing who it is? There's one person that was in. We worked together musically. I'm just gonna say it like that. This person never came. Well, rarely came to rehearsals. Didn't listen to music, but get an attitude. When someone asked him to adjust things. But then, so once we decided to go in a different direction, now this person is like, "Well, thank you for using me," and this person is mad. And I'm just like, "But do you not remember what you did, or what you weren't doing? Should I say? You know?" So now
Yeah.
you the victim. Yeah, yeah, a guilt trip, exactly. Um, and it's brought that came up for me because um, he wasn't taking responsibility for his actions. Like, understand that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That is the law of the universe.
Yeah.
Um, and on the back end, you want to play like we did you wrong, but you weren't in integrity, you know, with yourself and with us at all. So now the actions that you were doing cause a consequence. And
Right.
now you want to be all, yeah, you did me wrong. No, no, partner. You were doing us wrong. And now you got your comeuppance.
Right.
You did. You did.
Yeah. So, get on, partner. So Mark said most true perfectionists feel they can be a better version of themselves no matter how good they are. That's what he meant by the Michael comparison.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said even Prince knew he could be better. And so the way you just worded that um, helps because sometimes it's not about, like I was just giving an example about me writing and how I want my pages, the words on the page to look. And so it wasn't about being, and it isn't about being a perfectionist. It's about being better. I know I can make this look better. I just have to figure out how to get it to look, the way I want it to look. So it's about being better and not being a perfectionist. So that's worded um, very good. And then he said, it's everybody's fault but my own. And that's in response to what you were saying about.
The victim. Mm-hmm. Always you, never me.
Yeah,
And if everybody is always doing something to you, and what's the common denominator?
yeah,
What's the common
yeah,
denominator and all that? So,
yeah.
woe is me is what we call them. We call them people, woe is me. No,
Ah. So here's the next one. The judger. And this person says, I judge others harshly at times, especially when they show traits I've been taught to suppress in myself. Shadow work helps me see these are actually rejected parts of me. Whoa.
mm-hmm. The compassionate or empathetic response is judgment often hides our hurt or unmet needs. It's okay to notice this without shame. The parts of others you judge may be calling you home to parts of yourself longing for love. You are worthy of love.
I'm looking at the man
Mirror.
in the mirror.
Yeah,
I'm asking him to change his ways or her ways, either
right,
one.
exactly.
But it's always and you helped me to learn that years ago. you know, that when something is going on or somebody's doing something, you know, that hurts me, or that hurts, then, you know, I'm looking at a reflection of myself.
Right.
And so, anyway, and then it's so yesterday at AYPN, our speaker's topic was reflection. And so some of them were talking about looking at the, you know, the person in the mirror. Anyway, it was really good. You want to add something else before I go to the next part?
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, you hear people, and I mean, like I said, we do this too. Um, something someone is doing is annoying the crap out of you, and it's like, when you step back from it, sometimes you realize, okay, yeah, that's a part of me, and that's why it's so charging to me. That's why I have
Yeah.
to charge up. They're doing something in me, like I said, that I push down, and now you doing it. It's like, well, why you? It's like, oh, okay, that's me. Oh, okay, okay, okay,
Yeah.
man.
So then, with that being said, you have to decide, okay, is this something I want to continue to see or to feel or experience? Or is this something I want to change? Because you're seeing that reflection of you that you don't like. So, and it's not about that person that's doing it, it's about you and what's going on on the inside of you. You want to add something?
No. Let's go on to the next
Okay, so the next one is the rescuer. And this is the
one.
so this is the one that says I jump in to fix others' problems, thinking I'm being helpful, but sometimes it's a way to avoid dealing with my own brokenness and need for boundaries.
Yes.
Mm,
Mm-hmm. The compassion or empathetic response is your desire to help others comes from such a deep place of love, but you matter too. You deserve the same care you give so freely. Make sure to fill your cup with love and encouragement so that you can give the same to someone else who needs it. You can't pour from an empty cup. We talk about that all the time, and you don't have to.
yeah,
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of times people focus so much of their attention and energy outwardly because they can't deal with themselves. So it's like, let me go help this person. Let me go save them, and you go back home to your own hell in your own
yeah,
head. And I know a lot of people like that. People who are constantly, I gotta go save this person. I gotta do this. It's an avoidance. I mean, there's it's okay sometimes to save others, but really, you save. One of my favorite terms is save yourself. Save yourself because you're the only person. Like, even if you help that person, they can't be saved unless they want to save themselves.
yeah.
They got to do the work. You can give them the tools, but you can't save nobody,
Don't
especially
save him. He don't
you
want
don't
to
want
be
to. Hey, hey,
saved.
hey. Oh, sorry. Just push that down.
So Mark said, I know that one all too well. So the next one is the angry one. Woo! This is the one that lashes out, that says, I lash out or shut down quickly. It's easier to be angry than to admit I feel hurt or vulnerable. Shadow work taught me my anger is a signal, not a shame.
Right. Yes,
Easier to be angry than to admit you feel vulnerable. Man, that's a miserable person.
right. I'm trying to remember who told me this. I can't remember who told me, but the saying was, "Anger is sadness's guardian." So there's
Sad.
really anger is sadness's guardian.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like a lot of times the anger you know is a mask for the fear or the sadness that you feel. As opposed um, to actual anger. You know, it's a protection method. How we go into that fight or flight thing. Well, yeah, that's exactly why anger shows up like that. It's to protect you. But like it says, that's a anger is a symptom of something deeper.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So I was trying to look and see if there's some messages. So then, oh, you got the compassionate statement.
my bad. Anger is not wrong. It's a protector. uh, Beneath it is often pain, grief, or fear that deserves tenderness. Amen to that. We become angry, but it's not healthy to stay angry because it can breed hatred, bitterness, and resentment. You're allowed to feel, to break, and to heal.
All of that. All of that. So when people say things or make comments, oops, sorry. When people say things or make comments about, it's not right to be angry or you can't be angry, what? It's an emotion.
Right.
And it's about having that emotion, right? Because we're going to have it.
Right.
Things are going to make us angry. People are going to make us angry.
Right.
So it's about acknowledging what we're feeling and then making a choice as to whether we want to stay that way, keep our fists closed, keep this anger, or open our hands, let it go to receive something better, to replace it. So, what you want to add?
Yeah, I was going to say, like I said before, anger is a symptom of something bigger, something deeper. Um, so it's like at that time you need to really step back. Hey, what is this anger about? What is the deeper meaning?
Yep,
What's underlying this?
yep,
And stand in anger, man. You can kill yourself. I mean, angry people have strokes and heart attacks and man, high blood pressure and all types of stuff. And then
right,
when you're angry all the time, you make decisions based off of that anger that end up causing negative consequences throughout the rest of your life. So
right,
remember, anger is a guardian. It's a symptom of something. You know, so you got to dig up. You got to dig it up. All right, let's unpack this. Why?
yep.
What's the anger about? It's way more than just the anger. That yeah, that's the symptom.
And that's part of the shadow work.
Right.
Um, so, yeah, um, we shared with you um, the things that needs to be confronted. So you can begin confronting these hidden parts of yourself by using tools like shadow work prompts or starting a shadow work journal. Techniques like journaling, guided reflection, or working with a therapist can help you explore these buried aspects, fostering greater self awareness and improved well being.
Right.
So, Jean is going to start by talking about the importance of journaling. Jean's been journaling for years. Um, and so he's going to start out talking about it. But before that, Mark said, back to the rescuers. You have to fix yourself. Oh, he said something else before that. So he said, sometimes the angry ones can be like snakes.
Oh
The
yeah.
venom comes out of nowhere. Yeah. And
Yep.
you're like, what the heck just happened?
Exactly. Like,
And then he said, back to the rescuers. You have to fix yourself before you can fix anyone else. That's so true.
amen to that.
Because we definitely got stuff, all of us,
Yep.
stuff.
You got stuff.
So you want to add something, or if not,
Um,
go to the next part.
hmm Actually, so and something. So we're gonna talk about the importance of journaling. Something I started doing because sometimes, for me, my mind is moving so fast when I'm journaling that my hand can't match the speed of my thoughts. So I started doing a voice recording journal and just start kind of archiving stuff like that, so I can go back. It's the same thing, but you get to talk it out as opposed to having to sit there and write it by hand. Because like I said, my mind moves way too fast with my hand.
Yeah,
So that could be an option. If you don't want to write or you don't have a notebook or whatever, we all got a voice recorder on our phone somewhere or something. You know, just record your thoughts, speak them out, so you can get them out of you and off of you. and then you can free space up, for healing. And
Yeah,
that's what journaling is about.
that's good. Thanks for sharing that.
All right, so journaling creates time for you to reflect or self reflect, especially if it becomes part of your daily routine. Plus, studies show it can reduce the effects of anxiety, depression, and even boost your immune system. Writing about your recent challenges or traumas can help increase resilience and decrease stress, providing you a valuable space to process emotions and work through problems. Capturing the emotions attached to emotionally charged moments throughout your day, or the subtleties of a feedback session can also offer valuable insights into your career trajectory and professional or personal goals. Patterns in your thinking might emerge, and you may notice reoccurring frustrations, identify areas for growth, or recognize your strengths. Uh, and actually, that's something I think is wise. Like when you start journaling, you get to go back and see your progress, or like I said, common themes. You're angry about this often, or something similar. So
Yeah.
what is So it's like, okay, so this is something I haven't really fully dealt with, and I need to go back, and assess it because it keeps showing up, and so yeah.
And I want to add something that we haven't said, and some people may have thought about it and some may not have. But, and a very important thing of journaling is to put dates.
Mm-hmm.
When you put dates and you go back, you like, wow, that was 3 years ago, or wow, that was just 2 months ago, and here I am, or look how far I've come since that time, how much I've changed,
Right.
how much I've evolved,
Right.
since that time. So that's something else that journaling is good for.
Right.
Really good to look back on.
Right. Yeah. Journaling is like taking emotional inventory. You know, and that's important. We talked about before. Uh, I like to end my day with reflecting, kind of going over my day. How did I feel? What did I do? So on and so forth. And that kind of allows your mind to relax. Okay, now I've dealt with, or I've assessed, what I've been through this day, what I felt, what it all meant, and now it's like, okay, I, all right, so yeah, this is something I got to deal with, and it puts it all in the forefront for you. You don't get to, you're no longer hiding from, your emotions and feelings, and I think that's important because this society teaches us to run away from how we feel. Teaches us to, um, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not placate. It's kind of like it's self deception. If I'm honest, the society we live in teaches us to be self deceptive. You know, to uh, to not really deal with stuff. Put on a mask. You know, in ways to make things look pretty, and that's what you see on social media all the time. You see people, fronting. I got this, and I'm doing this, and okay, cool. But how are you as a person? How are you when you're not on social media behind closed doors and no one else is around? Like,
Yeah,
who is that person? Who is
yeah,
that person? So, and journaling helps you look at that person. Helps you do, it's kind of like mirror work. Shadow work, mirror work are very similar. You're looking at yourself like deeply. You remove the masks that we wear because we all, it's natural, and the way that we deal with the world around us. You can't be the same person. Like we can't be the person that we are right now on this podcast, not the person that we are when we at work.
right.
And then when we're at work, we're not the same person that we are when we're around our friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So life requires us to wear masks. But one thing, Shakespeare, I believe it was Shakespeare, said something along the lines of, you know, um, if you wear the mask too long, it becomes you. You know, it's like that, yeah. And we have to understand that those masks are just tools of interaction and in different aspects of our life. So different, different aspects of our lives. You have to be a different person. You can't be, the same person you are with your friends. Hey, girl, you can't do that at work.
Yeah.
You can't do that at work. That's
Yeah.
not the environment for that.
Right.
But yeah, it gives you the opportunity to just take off that mask and be raw with yourself.
Yeah.
That's what's needed.
So before you go on, when you talked about reflecting at the end of the day, y'all, here's my new book, and this is journaling. And so this is journaling first thing in the morning, then going back, and asking, the question, what am I supposed to do today? Where am I supposed to be? Um, and uh, who am I supposed to help today? And then at the end of the day, did I do what I heard this morning? So the name of this book is 30 Days with the Master. Hear, rest, and respond. So at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you're resting and then you're responding. And so in the morning, you're hearing. I also did a journal. This is a devotional, I'm sorry. So this devotional is to encourage you to um, to build up your courage and your confidence. And so the name of this is Held by His Hands, a devotional journey of protection, growth, and confidence. In this devotional and the daily, and it's 90 days. The journal is 30 days, but this is 90 days of this. And so each day you're getting a scripture, you're getting a devotional, you're getting a prayer, you're getting an affirmation, and a reflection of what you've read, and then you're doing a deep dive. There's a couple questions for each day to really start dealing with you, to help you, like I said, build up your courage and confidence. And then, so I just wanted to share those. And Mark said, back to the rescuers, you have to fix yourself before you can fix anyone else. So that's what these books are helping me do. Helping
Fix
me
yourself.
get fixed so I can help some other people.
Hey,
Because I ain't fixed.
who is?
I'm a work in progress. And I'm trying to help other people do the work. So these are guides to help other people do the work, to admit they need help, and to do the work to get it together. So go ahead.
All right, so patterns in your thinking might emerge. You may notice recurring frustrations, identify areas of growth, or recognize your strengths. This may include, first, recognizing toxic traits in colleagues, higher ups, or your work culture. Number two, brainstorming characteristics of your ideal job role or work environment. Number three, pinpointing specific skills or experiences you want to develop. Number four, uncover aspirations to build into your life plan. Number five, analyzing your work-life balance and identifying behaviors to prioritize. Number six, celebrating your accomplishments. And number seven, tracking progress towards goals set during performance reviews or personal assessments. You might associate journaling as a tool to work through difficult moments, but journals offer a space for introspection and reflection for all of our life's moments. Regular journaling enhances your self awareness, even if you're keeping those insights to yourself. It's a space to process emotions, channel your creativity, and ultimately develop a deeper relationship with yourself. Can we get an amen for that one?
Yep.
Self love, baby, self love.
Self-love is very important. Uh, so um, I have a link here. I'm going to put in the chat for Mark to run across the screen to give you. There's 10 journaling apps. Jean talked about um, doing verbal recorded journaling. And that's something that I hadn't thought about doing on a daily basis. But that's good because then thank you, Mark, because then you get to hear your voice. You get to hear, and when you hear yourself, you can hear maybe something different in your voice today or recognize something different in your voice from 10 days ago, that recorded message or recorded journaling 10 days ago. Wow, I didn't realize I hear that frustration. I hear that anger. I feel that certain emotion, in that video or in that recording. I need something needs to change,
Right.
you know, or, I didn't realize it's just something how you can go back to something written or something recorded and hear the difference or see the difference
Yeah.
and maybe change.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I look through my like when I was doing more writing with the journaling. Um, one thing I noticed, like when I was angry, my handwriting was erratic. It was just like I was writing like this the whole time, just like on the page. And then when I'm sad, the writing kind of seems, I don't know, droopy or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can tell the difference, even in your writing. And then and again, like you said, the vocal recording, you can hear the inflections in your voice. The sadness, the anger, the pain, or whatever you're dealing with in that moment. You can hear it, again, those are clues. Those are
yeah,
clues to your mental and emotional state. Again, it just gives you the ability to assess. Okay, this is what I need to work on, so I can become a better version of myself. So I can help heal this feeling, or to do away with that anger or the fear or sadness or whatever it may be that you're dealing with. You get to again take inventory of your emotional mental state and make progress if you're willing to do the actual work. But yeah, it's very important. Like I said, it's that emotional and mental inventory you do for yourself.
yeah. And it's awesome. I think it's awesome when you can recognize things that you um, were feeling, and to even acknowledge, that I was feeling that or that I am feeling it either way, and that you know that you need to make a conscious choice of what you're going to do with that. Is this something I like? Is this something that benefits me? Is this something that's going to help me or catapult me into my future in a good way? Um, those things are important and to help you decide. Mark, you can take it down. Those things are important to help you become a better you, you know, to do things on purpose, to do things with purpose, because we have a purpose. We're all here for a certain reason, um, or for certain reasons to help certain people. There are certain people that will hear our voices and hear the things that we're saying, even if they've heard it 10 times by 10 other people, and we're the 11th person. They hear us. We're the person that they were assigned to hear, you know? Um, and so we're the ones, just by our spoken words or by our actions, can help them make a decision, a real decision to change whatever it is that that's not benefiting them or not helping them. What you want to add? We're at the end of the show.
Right, right, right. I like what you said earlier. Uh, you said you didn't say quite intentional, but something along those lines, being very intentional, uh, about your progress, your growth. Um, that's what it is. You have to be intentional. I think ain't that the name of Izzy's? Yeah, intentional living.
Well, her it's intentional healer.
Okay,
Is it the intentional healer?
right,
But everything that she does, part of the title is intentional.
right.
Excuse me. Go ahead.
Yeah, and growth is again, it's work that you have to be aware. You have to be aware. Self awareness is the whole project. Through healing, through growth as a person, it's about being conscious, cognizant, and very intentional about every single thing you do. The universe itself wastes no energy at all.
Yeah.
Everything is intentional. Everything has a purpose. Even the stuff we don't understand, it
Yeah.
has a purpose. I still don't understand the need for mosquitoes, but there's a purpose for them sap suckers. Even though I still want to kill them all, but there's a purpose. And like I said, the universe itself does not waste anything. So
Yeah.
being intentional is living in accordance and in alignment with the universe itself, in the higher version of you. So healing is intentional work. You don't get to sleep on it. You don't get to put on autopilot. You know what I mean? It's work. It's work. And it's conscious. You got to. Hey, oh man, I'm feeling this today, and I gotta deal with it. You can't just. That's like pouring libations to it. I'm gonna pour libations to this pain I'm feeling and make it worse.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what it does, is makes it worse. Even though that's not your intentions, when you engage or go. But so yeah, we are at the end of our show. We really appreciate you being here with us today. We are going to continue talking about shadow work on our next show. So join us on our next show. And if you have comments you want to leave on our YouTube channels, please do. We'll look at those and respond to them. In the meantime and in between time, we will see you. We tell you that we send you peace and love. Take care of yourself and take care of your mind. It's important. Take care of your heart. Value yourself. Take care. See you next Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, wherever you're watching us from. Peace. Love.